nobody can stop us. But we will stop us all the time. We are our own worst enemies if we don't deal with the things and the fears that we have and the limitations, because we're only limited by ourselves.
Boom! What's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larson. Welcome back to the One Funnel Away Stories show. I am asking entrepreneurs about their One Funnel Away story. And like myself, it took a lot of tries. It takes most entrepreneurs many tries for usually several years to really figure out the game and figure out how to make it work. And so on with me, I have a special guest today who's going to kind of share her story as well. Sharon, let me make sure it's Horne Ellstrom, right?
That is right.
Yep. Glad to have you on with us today. Thanks so much for taking the time, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, very excited to have you here. Now, just so that everyone knows a little bit about what you do, what is your business now? What are you currently selling and doing now?
My business now is I help female entrepreneurs to supersize and grow their business in ways that won't kill them. Oh. And I say that in not a light fashion, because in 2010, I actually had a sudden cardiac arrest and passed away.
Oh.
And I knew that at that time I had to make massive changes in my life and my lifestyle. And back then I was running 6 or 7 different businesses with my ex-husband, and I'd come out of corporate America to run all these different businesses. And I realized exactly how much my little red wagon could hold. And I surpassed that amount in a lot of different ways. And, so I needed to do something different. And that's when I decided to come online.
Wow. So a lot of life. Sometimes I feel like people are pushed into entrepreneurship and some people choose it. What would you say it is for you?
I spent 25 years in corporate America working for multi-billion-dollar companies.
Wow.
While having businesses on the side. I come from a really entrepreneurial family.
Wow.
So I always knew I wanted to have my own businesses. And so I went both the career route, the corporate career, and the entrepreneurial route side by side, so that I could eliminate my risk and my fear of jumping 100% into the entrepreneurial world.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't feel most people do that usually. It's usually, hey, I'm going to go just do the job or just do entrepreneurship. You were doing kind of a combo to mitigate risk in corporate world. Yeah. So what were you trying, I guess?
Okay, you say it had 17 tries. I've had at least 27 different businesses and industries over the years.
Yeah.
And so corporate for me was kind of my security blanket and cushion. And I had a young family that I did this, while raising my family. And then finally, after about my 4th or 5th layoff, I did get fired once.
Woo! Like this is it. We'll all celebrate that here.
I totally celebrate it. Most entrepreneurs, and with our mindset, don't necessarily fit into the corporate mold. And I never did, but it was my security blanket. And I learned that from my dad. My dad was a corporate guy. He worked at 3M his entire life. And then he always had businesses on the side. And so it was just kind of natural for me to do the same thing.
Huh. So what kind of tries and businesses were you actually growing on the side?
My God, I've been in real estate. I've been in I actually did network marketing a couple of times, and kind of successful in the business would go full belly up.
Yeah.
What else have I done? Restaurants. We sold fireworks, rodeo. My first business was an ice business. When I was 13, I sold ice cubes and block ice to bars and restaurants. That's where I learned about how to outsource and get other people to do things for you, because at 13, I couldn't drive. So I needed delivery people to deliver the ice to the bars I sold it to and the restaurants.
That's amazing.
It was weird, but funny, yeah.
Not weird at all. I was hopping fences.
My first word was ice. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, but it makes sense though. I mean, I was hopping fences in golf courses, getting the golf balls, cleaning up, and selling back to the golfers.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I was breaking a lot of rules. That's great that you that you weren't.
You can be a rule follower, or you can just do what you're going to do and then ask for forgiveness. I learned in corporate America that I got a lot further, a lot faster by asking for forgiveness than asking for permission. Because it takes forever to get things done in corporate.
Yeah. A lot of red tape. Legal's got to look at every decision.
Everything you say and everything you do, it's filtered.
So you go in, and I mean, you had a lot of tries. You went through, and with each little one, I'm sure I mean, I can look back and say the same kind of thing. I'm sure you can as well. Like, oh, from this one, I learned to do this, but not that, to do this, but not that. And not necessarily about the product, but like the business savvy skill sets that you pick up along the way, you know? What's kind of the biggest thing you've learned, I guess, from the failures?
I have always learned from my failures that everybody gets freaked out when they fail or screw something up or when they have an obstacle or a challenge. And I freaking embrace challenges. I am like the challenge queen. I mean, and maybe it's partly because I kept getting more and more challenges until I actually learned the lesson that the challenge or the obstacle was there to show me. And then once I learned it, I would move on and do the right thing. So really challenges and obstacles and failures are just stepping stones to getting us where we want to go. And they're actually, if you look back at your life, and I do this a lot with people I work with now, I say, look back at your life. And when you look back at the experiences that you've had, your successes they feel good, but they only feel good for about 5 minutes, maybe, if you're lucky. And then you don't really change based on your successes, but you do change based on the pain that you incur whenever you have an obstacle or a failure. I mean, we learn our lessons only from when we fail. I don't think I ever learned very much in college or in school when I got an A on a test. But if I got a C or a D or an F on a test, guess what? I was going back in and I was figuring out, all right, what did I do wrong? Why did I make this mistake? And how can I not make it in the future?
I love that. I'm going to write that down and quote you on it, if that's all right. Successes don't change you, but failures do.
Failures absolutely do.
Oh, wow.
That's really why I love challenges now. Every challenge that I've ever had, and I've had a lot. I don't talk about my challenges very often, although I know and I'm learning from you that that's actually a strength. But I, for example, have had chronic pain since my 20s, really bad health challenges and chronic pain up to and including death. And now I just recently found out that I'm legally blind. And so it's just a new challenge. And is it going to stop me? Hell no. I'll figure it out. I'm figuring it out. I use a 62-inch screen TV and I do what I can do. I make a lot of videos because I can talk, even though I can't read things. Sure. I can still talk. I'm very good at that. Right. So I've just substituted. And, some of the things that the One Funnel Away Challenge specifically has helped me with is to focus. I thought when I went into the online world that I would easily duplicate my offline success because I had a lot of success in corporate America and in my businesses offline. And I thought, this will be a breeze because everybody tells you it's going to be a breeze. And I'll just fly through it and I'll have the same success that I've had offline. Well, I just did day 744 of documenting my journey through live video editing. Yeah. And I'm like, here I am, 744 days, still talking to you because I haven't gotten there yet. Now, even after I get and achieve that, of course, I'll set another goal and another milestone. But, I've made some of the rookie mistakes, and the One Funnel Away Challenge really helped me to pull myself out of that. It helped me to stop doing the learning loops, which I never thought I would have gotten trapped in. It got me to actually take action every day, which I'm pretty good at taking action every day. Once I create a system or a way of doing things, I'm pretty good about just doing it and taking action, which I've learned from ClickFunnels because, it's implementing as you go along. And I think that's why I love challenges. It breaks it down into bite-sized pieces that people can actually do every single day. When you do one thing to move you toward your goal every day, even if it's a tiny thing, you're still making progress. And pretty soon you've got momentum and all of a sudden you've achieved things that you never thought were possible.
That's really fascinating. Amazing advice as well. And so, these are all things you've learned throughout. And I'm not like anti-corporate. I'm not anti the man. Whatever someone wants in life, right? If that's what they want, that's great. Go for it. Be the best you can in that. If you want this world of entrepreneurship, that's great. Be the best you can in this, and that's, so you go in, you learn all these things from corporate. You start learning what works and doesn't from a young age, from entrepreneurship. And then, 13, ICE, which is amazing. As you start, what made you realize you wanted to take the jump though and leave the corporate setting? And what'd you go to?
To be honest, I got laid off from my job, my corporate job. I was running the vice president of corporate quality, and then I inherited sanitation about 3 months into that gig. And at the 5-year mark, the company was sold to another organization. And since I made like 5 times more than my assistant managers, of course, I knew I was going to leave, which was cool because it gave me time to set it up so that they would be successful. Right. And then I just decided I was 40 years old, 40 something. And I'd been running an Italian food business on the side that was really successful. And so I thought, why am I going to go try to find another job at 40 when I can just keep doing what I'm doing? And I was secure enough in that. And we were doing real estate and a whole bunch of other things. So it made sense to just walk away from corporate America.
You were the vice president in a corporate setting, killing it, and running a restaurant at the same time that was also killing it.
Sure. Food manufacturing, not a restaurant.
Okay.
We sold restaurants into grocery chains. Yeah. I've never been lacking in energy or initiative or motivation.
Yeah. I feel like I'm meeting my other here. I mean, same thing. Right? I twitch, Energizer Bunny. Totally get it.
Well, both kids have ADHD, and I'm old enough that it wasn't a thing when I was growing up, sure. But I guarantee that I have ADHD.
It's great.
And learning challenges just like my kids. I think it's a superpower.
I think it is too. It's not a hindrance at all. Okay, so you go corporate, then you go straight into restaurant, you get doing other things with real estate. And are you doing those things now? Did you switch and change gears after a while?
After my sudden cardiac arrest, I decided I needed to stop doing the things I didn't love. And I didn't love real estate. I got into real estate, became a broker and a realtor because my ex-husband wanted to do those things. We were going to build the Italian food business together when I left corporate, but he decided after about 2 months, he didn't want to do that. And he wanted to get into real estate rehab. Back then it was short sales and loan modifications and things. So we ended up with 6 different real estate businesses. And I will be really open here. I found out that he had a girlfriend for quite a long time. And so we got divorced. And that was at the same time that we were in a lawsuit with a really bad business partner. And that's when I had my sudden cardiac arrest. And I came out of that, luckily, after being frozen and in a coma, and decided, everything I've been doing has to change now. Because if you don't change what isn't working, you're going to be dead. Because the statistics are very grim for somebody goes through a hard experience like that. And I read those and I saw if you don't make massive lifestyle changes. And so I honed in on that and created and made massive lifestyle changes.
Well, and I think that's,
and then some other things happened and I got sucked back into the Italian food business, even though I was trying to divest myself of that because I wanted to do online things. And it wasn't until by 2017, I heard about Russell Brunson. Yeah. And I did the certification program and came across you and everybody else. And I guess the rest is kind of history.
Yeah. So it's so interesting then. Okay, so real estate, then you stop it, and then you go in the restaurant. I mean, so you started shutting those things. You're not still doing all of that, are you? I mean,
I'm not doing any of that. I actually, knock wood, our house is under contract to close on the 27th.
Oh, wow.
Close this month. And that's the last asset that my ex-husband and I have together because we had a bunch of businesses together and a bunch of assets together that it's taken years to divest ourselves of. So then I'll have my ultimate freedom to do what I want all the time in my pajamas. Still wearing my pajamas.
Grandma. Woo.
Still wearing them.
That's right. I love it. Absolutely. So what is your business now then? I mean, because that's a lot of stuff and it's very insightful to hear. Because we all have this, right? Oh, I want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try this. And you were doing it, which is hyper rare. And then to look back and say that may not be healthy, right? And then going through what you did, cardiac arrest, right? And then going into, and so you've chosen this though with a very interesting, neat lens, having gone through and tried a lot of things, been successful in a lot of things. So I'm very interested to know, what is it you're doing now? Simply because it also is a testament of what you're not doing now. You've gotten very, very choosy because of your experiences. What is it you do now?
Now what I'm doing is I'm helping, and I'm trying to shift more toward women because just like in corporate America, most of my clients are men. But I'm teaching people how to create the systems and all the procedures and the things to make their business work so that it literally won't kill them, so that they let go of the things that they should let go of. But to create the systems and understand the systems that they need to understand, have their involvement in the pieces of the business that they need to, but let go of the other ones and just have an oversight capacity to become their own CEO versus trying to do everything themselves.
So
I help people. Right. So I say supersize your business. When I say supersize your business, I mean help you to grow to, the multi-million-dollar level or whatever level is right for you, because each of us want different things. I mean, when I was younger, it was all about the money. It was all about work. How can I earn money? What can I do to make enough money to support my family and do whatever I wanted to do. And now it's more about, can I have an impact and help people change their lives and get what they want versus the money. It's the money. It's really sad because people hit you up every day on social media and say, do you want to make more money? Do you want to make more money? And I'm like, yeah, no, that doesn't motivate me at all. So it's kind of funny to see that now, to think that, yeah, I used to be really motivated by money, but the older I get, and maybe it is because I did have that experience with the sudden cardiac arrest, that I realized that we're not going to leave with anything that we acquire here. So do all the material things really even matter anymore? Not necessarily. It's more, how can I help people get what they want and to live the life that they deserve?
I'm a huge fan of the personal development side of this game. And frankly, I think it's one of the reasons that I like doing it so much, because I mean, it's the capitalist pig thing, but but in reality, it's that you get to get resources to go build what you want. It's not like take over the world 24/7. There's a time and season, so I totally believe that. Yeah, absolutely. What advice would you give to somebody who's either actually, you've been doing successful business for such a long, you have such a track history. Most people go through One Funnel Away Challenge. A lot of them are brand new, and there are some that are experienced, but not so much usually. And so what advice would you have to somebody who is already a business owner, who is experienced like you do? They've gone through this, not quite getting it to work yet on the internet though.
Like you said, I had such a bizarre mess of the experience. Where was I going to go with it? Who was I going to serve? And that was the hardest decision for me. And then I got sucked into the watching everybody else and saying, okay, why haven't I gotten as successful as Steve Larson when, I've done all these things? And there's a lot of that where you fall into the trap of comparing. And like you said, the personal development and mindset is everything. Yeah. And once you realize that there's only one you, and by being yourself and moving forward with that, you have no competition. And when there's no competition, you can actually hone in on and do what it is that you love to do. And that's when people are attracted to you. That's when you actually get the success that you want and the impact that you want in terms of whatever it is for your business online. Absolutely.
It's funny, I was I had a chance to chat with Frank Kern backstage at Funnel Hacking Live for a little bit. He and I were about to go on and we were chatting and stuff. And I brought up this very same thing you just said. I said, you know what? I think competition is not as real as we make it. And he was like, absolutely. The pie is so big and it's so massive and the opportunities are so, it's this thing we play in our heads to just make us, the game truly is about us and how we can react with the world around us rather than these true, real limitations, because they're not actually really there. So
we live in an incredibly abundant universe, and we're just limited only by our imagination. And it's mindset is so big, and people miss that. I know in the One Funnel Away Challenge, a lot of people try to skip that first week and not do it. And I'm like, you guys, if you don't do anything else, do that first week. So I like to take groups through the challenge with me. It's pretty fun. I think it's my 4th time through it.
Cool.
And the first time was really the most fun, I think, because I had some very interesting awakenings. The parts that I thought I'd ease through and would be super easy ended up being really hard, and I got behind and I finally had to run to catch up. And then the parts I thought would be really hard, I flew through. So it just was kind of interesting to experience it firsthand and actually say, okay, lessons learned. Always lessons learned. It's all about us, right? Mm-hmm. And nobody can stop us, but we will stop us all the time. We are our own worst enemies if we don't deal with the things and the fears that we have and the limitations, because we're only limited by ourselves.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I really do appreciate it. And for those of you guys who are listening or watching now and you want to have some of this growth, go to onefunnelawaystories.com to subscribe to the show. And appreciate you taking the time, Sharon. This has been great.
Thanks so much for having me. You have an awesome day, Steve.
Hey, thanks, you too.